So we're here to talk about Larry Bird. All right, if you're not a fan of Larry Bird, you may not understand this video. If you are, let me know what era of basketball you appreciate more, the 80s or the 90s. All right, this video is one of many videos that are going to show you why this man is one of the greatest of all time. Now, what I want to know real quick before we start is, have you ever met him? Have you ever been to one of his games? I love to hear stories like that because you would never hear him again unless you hear him for the person. Now, if this is your first time, first time, if you're a part of the fam, definitely write fam in the comments. And without further ado, let's get right into this Larry Bird video.
As Larry Bird played his last handful of games on the 1992 Dream Team, he got called out by some young college superstars for being old and washed up. And one last time, Larry Bird had to prove that even at his advanced age, there's a big difference between being a good player and being the greatest of all time. Because after that 1992 season, after so many years of giving his blood, sweat, and tears to the game of basketball, Larry Bird's body had completely betrayed him. And no one knew it yet, but he had played his last game in the NBA.
I can remember when I first came in the league, Artis Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy, because that's what basketball is all about, going after the loose balls. And we're getting a little bit older now and feeling the bangs and the bumps and the bruises and all that. I can see where he's coming from, but I can't change my style of play. I got to play like that every night, because if you go down and get one loose ball that's on the ground, that could be the turning point of the game, and it has been in some instances.
Had back problems. It just gets to the point where you just couldn't play. I mean, you couldn't think, couldn't move, couldn't run. You know, if you can't feel your feet, it's hard to run.
But just before he was about to announce his retirement, a longtime rival asked him to lace up his sneakers one last time.
Everybody got to show love to that boy Magic Johnson in the comments as well, man. That is another part of why 80s and 90s basketball will always go down as the best era of basketball.
But this time, it would be on the same team in what many people have called the greatest team ever assembled, the 1992 Dream Team.
Yes,
Larry was on the fence because of his back, so I said, man, LB, you got to play, man. You got to play. This is our last chance to be together. He said, Magic, my back is hurting. I said, Larry, you don't have to play 30 minutes a game. You can just play 10 minutes a game. He said, all right, I'll play. I said, all I want to do is come down and do a no-look pass to you, and you shoot a three-pointer. We both going to be very happy.
Magic that time, making the defensive rotation, forcing him to put it on the floor. Bird for three.
Wow.
His third from downtown.
See, I love their friendship. That's one thing that I learned, is that their rivalry really turned into a friendship. And I don't know if you guys ever got a chance to see when Larry Bird got his MVP, or his retirement, Magic Johnson made a speech. And you could just tell that based off that speech, this is like the energy for both of these guys. You know what I mean? You come to the league, you're trying to be the best player, and then you hit a brick wall. You know, and I think Magic brick wall was Larry, and I think Larry brick wall was Magic, and they both managed to do what they had to do, man. So shout out to both of them, man.
I want to say this is just a small step in what our goal really is, to get to Barcelona, win the gold medal, and bring it back where it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Be the best basketball team ever assembled. And here they are, moments away from their international debut. And the white uniform, Magic Johnson controls the tip. Here's Larry Bird banking in, goes to the fadeaway.
Nasty.
A come from behind effort against Canada. Bird for three.
First off, guys, I need y'all to call out who y'all seen. I seen Clyde Drexler already. I think I seen Chris Mullin over there. Michael Jordan is over there. This is like a crazy team.
Larry Bird hitting his second from downtown. He has 10 points. In the second half, Bird is wide open. That's a
And
I forgot Stockton's right there.
Even on the brink of retirement, Larry Bird still had a little something left in the tank.
The crowd start cheering, Larry, Larry, Larry.
to the entrance of Larry Bird.
Let's go.
Ovation.
Get an open look in transition.
Magic with the pass that misfired. Jordan with the behind.
Nasty. Yo, this is your first time on the channel. We already got lingo on the channel, man. Nasty. When we see Larry Bird do any play crazy, nasty.
You just knew that Larry Bird was not going to miss that shot after the great save by Michael Jordan.
I'm going to send a message around the world today that y'all
Charles
can give it up. You foreigners can give it up.
The final score, the United States.
Yeah, you couldn't even say that now. Why? Do you know that people will be offended by that? He said that on national TV. Like, guys, I gotta realize this generation was the toughest, the gangsters. Larry Bird, they were gangsters. Magic Johnson were gangsters. They didn't care about all the soft stuff. Charles Barkley would have said that on TV today, he would have got kicked out the league. What do y'all think? Would he got kicked out or did he let him keep going?
Number 36, and Cuba, 57.
And in the gold medal game, the Dream Team beat Croatia, and there was no doubt anywhere in the world who was the greatest team ever assembled.
Facts.
They won their games to an average margin of 40-plus points. A conclusion to their 2 weeks in Barcelona. This group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history of team sports.
Chris Mullin.
However, as our old legends age out of the game, there will always be some newcomers to come challenge the throne. And in 1992, that newcomer was Rodney Rogers.
And the shot comes up.
Ooh, nasty.
Rodney Rogers.
Nasty.
That may be the best I've seen all season.
You brought up Rodney Rogers, and when I was asked about Zion, I said, you know, for some reason, I see a little bit of Rodney Rogers in Zion Williamson. You know, they were big, athletic guys who were mobile. Do you see Rodney Rogers in Zion?
I do see Rodney Rogers.
Yeah,
it makes so much sense now that you said it like that. But Rodney Rogers could shoot better. I had never seen a guy like that strong. I mean, I knew what country strong was after I played against him and Corliss Williamson, those guys like that, I mean, maybe never lifted a weight, but could push a car out the way if they needed to. And so with him, I definitely think Rodney Rogers would be a great
this guy?
And when Rodney Rogers was selected as one of the 8
I need some backstory on this guy in the comments. Why have I never heard of him?
best college players in 1992 to go scrimmage against the Dream Team, Larry Bird gave Rodney Rogers his welcome to the league moment.
But you missed Bird by a couple of years, I think, didn't you?
I missed him by 1 year, but I got to play against him in the Dream Team and to be able to practice with him, see how he worked out, see how he shot, see the junk that he talked constantly. The best was my man Rodney Rogers, strong, fast, quick, athletic, and Bird just set him up in a corner. Someone drives to the corner, Stockton passed out the Bird, and here you see Rodney Rogers take a full sprint. And I'm talking about, you know how Zion blocked that shot a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
That's where where Rodney Rogers came from. Except, unlike the young kid that shot the shot, in the middle of him being in the midair, Bird says, "Welcome to the parachute club, rookie," and watches him go by him, shoots the ball, and kept walking down, shaking his head like, these dumb youngsters, they'll never get it.
And according to some of the guys that played, Larry Bird and the Dream Team basically beat these college youngsters by 100 points. But why was Larry Bird so hell-bent on embarrassing the young Rodney Rogers? Because one day earlier, Rodney Rogers said something that pissed Larry Bird off, and a friendly scrimmage turned into a serious lesson in respecting your elders.
You know, when we played against them in the Dream Team, you know, that whole situation was amazing.
It was 8 of us. It was myself, Bobby Hurley, Allen Houston, Chris Webber, Rodney Rogers, Eric Montrose.
Shout out Rodney Rogers, man. Shout out to OG.
Yeah. And Grant Hill was on that squad.
And I kept calling us the crash test dummies. And they want us to come sit in the car and run up against the wall and see how hard it hurts to play against these guys.
So we get to La Jolla, San Diego, and we check into the Marriott, and we're walking in the corridor, and we see this tall white guy coming down the hall. And I'm like, damn, that looked like Larry Bird. So Larry Bird coming down the hallway, me and Chris Webber, and Larry Bird, you don't realize how big Larry Bird is until you stand up close to Larry Bird. Larry Bird, legit.
Real quick, guys, I didn't ask who your favorite NBA team was. You know what I mean? Even if you're a fan of Larry, who was your team? You know, let me know. My team back then was the Knicks. You already know. Larry did us dirty. Jordan did us dirty. That's the man that did us dirty right there on the screen. Speaking of the devil.
Did 6'10". So he walked by us and he says, y'all those college guys? And we was like, yeah, we the college guys. And he looked at us and he said, get some fucking rest. It's going to be a long week, and walked off. And we was like, what the hell?
And we get back to the hotel, and I remember Bird getting off the elevators like, see y'all tomorrow, young fellas. See y'all tomorrow. And it wasn't like a looking forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. It was like, no, it was like a see y'all tomorrow, right?
And I remember getting off the plane, and I see a sign. It says Mr. Bird and Mr. Weber.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no way. And so I get in the car, and it's Larry fucking Bird. And I shake his hand. I'm quiet, you know. And when we get out, he doesn't say much. But when we get out, he goes, hope you get your sleep tonight, because I'm going to bust your ass tomorrow.
Yes.
And I didn't know what to say, but I knew this is a moment you have to say something. And I was like, you know, Larry, your back is already hurting, man. You need to take it easy. And then I run to the room and I call my father. I'm like, Dad, Larry Bird was just talking shit to me.
So the next morning, we get up and we go to practice, and the dream team is practicing. They're finishing up their practice. And then they say, all right, get loose and stretch out. We're like, okay, we playing? They're like, yeah, we're going to play next. It's the starting five, I think, is myself, Chris Webber, Rodney Rogers, Bobby Hurley, and Allen Houston.
Mm-hmm. So we're practicing. We start finding the rhythm. Penny's pinning people's on the glass. You know, C. Webb's doing his thing. And I hit a couple threes, and next thing you know, like the clock stops. And we look up and like, we up.
Yeah. Right.
And we're up.
Like the first 15 minutes, we kicking their ass. we running them all out. Bobby Hurley in the lane, killing John Stockton.
Wow. I did have some success penetrating and collapsing the defense, and our energy, our excitement to play, all those things played in our favor. You know
I'm not gonna lie, man. Now that these guys got a little older, sometimes it takes me a little second to, you know, realize who it is. But a lot of these guys look the same that they look on the court. If you really pay attention, they look exactly the way that they look from the court.
We were doing that day, you know, they couldn't stop it. It felt tremendous.
I don't know if there was ever a more pure or better basketball day for myself or for any of those guys, because we were in a dream playing against our heroes. Yeah. And we did beat them that first practice.
And then something happened. We're sitting there and we get back to the hotel. Rodney Rogers says something to, it's a group of them. It's Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and everybody's shooting the shit. And Rodney Rogers said, hey, Larry, you ain't hit a jumper since 84. And we ain't think nothing of it. The next day we came in. That's when the thing came out that Chuck Daly let us win.
There are kids who believe in Santa Claus too, and the Easter Bunny. And now that they've grown up, I hate to burst their bubble, but it was a game thrown. You know, Chuck threw the game. If you look how he subbed guys in, not picking up, not making any adjustments, he knew what he was doing.
I love Coach K. That's come on, man. That's BS. They had Chris Mullin, a better
Who is one of y'all favorite coaches of all time? Who do you think is the best coach ever in the NBA?
Shooter than anyone that we had. We really beat him that day. But the next day, it's been the only time in my life I've been in a scrimmage and my team did not score in the whole quarter.
Man, the next day it was different. It was different that day. Yeah, you could tell that, you know, they were like, come on now, we're gonna let y'all know who we really are.
We showed them why we are who we are.
Patrick,
we pretty much beat them by 100.
They couldn't score.
They were smacking the floor, talking shit to us like it was a championship game.
Magic Johnson fed Larry Bird the ball probably about 8 times in a row down court.
Wow.
Larry Bird got the ball on Rodney Rogers, and every time he was about to make a move, he told him what he was going to do. One dribble, pull up, going left, off glass. One dribble, going right, spin, shot, bucket. He scored 9 times or 8 times in a row, left the court to go lay down because he couldn't sit on a bench.
Right,
He had to
I
lay
remember
down
that. His
because
back
of
is
his back.
messed up.
And said, young fella, look like 84, huh?
Last time he made
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow. I said, so that's they kicked our ass for the rest of the week. And
said the rest of the week, guys. They ain't play with you.
Nah, they ain't play with us the rest of the week. And this one I was like, this is a different breed.
These dumb youngsters, they'll never get it.
Man, listen, every time we get into these Larry Bird stories, man, I feel a moment of my childhood, you know what I mean? And I feel, you know, that feeling that we had when we were young and we wanted to be like Mike and we wanted to be, you know, be like whoever, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a nostalgic type feeling that I get from watching these type of videos because it brings you back to that mindset. You know, when I see these different basketball players, I get a sense of excitement. I don't get excited about basketball players now. I'm a fan of more 80s, 90s basketball, and that's pretty much what it is. Guys, I want to let you know I've reacted to a lot of Larry Bird videos on this channel. Some of y'all may have not known I got demonetized for 90 days and got my monetization back. So if you didn't see me on the algorithm, there's a reason, okay? But it's all good. I'm still shooting for 100,000 subs by the end of this year. Make sure you guys sub up, hit the top bell, watch a bunch of videos on this channel, and guess what? I'll see you on the next one.